If your qPCR data can't be trusted, then your conclusions aren't either. And that's why MIQE 2.0 just dropped. The reliability of quantitative PCR depends not only on the instrument, but on how experiments are designed, performed, and reported. qPCR is highly sensitive. Small technical choices can strongly influence the final result. To improve transparency and reproducibility in qPCR studies, the MIQE guidelines, minimum information for publication of quantitative real-time PCR experiments, were introduced in 2009. The new guidelines define the minimum information required so that reviewers and readers could properly assess the quality of qPCR data. Since then, qPCR has continued to evolve. Reagents have improved, instruments are more advanced, and data analysis has become more sophisticated. qPCR moved forward, and the guidelines needed to catch up too. This led to the updated MIQE guidelines, released in 2025. The new guidelines also make several expectations explicit. These are not recommendations. They are reporting requirements. First, commercial assays with undisclosed primer or probe sequences are no longer exempt from transparency. If sequences are proprietary, it is required that sufficient context sequence information be provided, such as flanking regions, amplicon location, and accession numbers, so assay specificity can still be evaluated. Second, CQ values alone are no longer acceptable as final results. The new guidelines clearly state that CQ values are intermediate data. They must be converted into efficiency-corrected target quantities and reported together with prediction intervals. Think of a CQ value like the time a runner crosses the finish line. That tells you when they finished, but not how fast they ran. Efficiency correction tells you the actual distance and pace, and prediction intervals show how confident you are in that measurement. Third, limits of detection and quantification must be reported for every target. The updated guidelines require both the LOD, the lowest detectable signal, and the LLOQ, lower limit of quantification, defining the range where quantification is reliable. Another major change is that the delta-delta CQ method is explicitly discouraged. This method assumes that your target and reference genes amplify at exactly the same efficiency, but in reality, that's rarely true. Using it can give misleading results. Instead, you are required to correct for efficiency and normalize using validated reference genes. Best practice is to use multiple reference genes and calculate their geometric mean to normalize your data. Relying on just one reference gene and assuming it's stable under all conditions is no longer acceptable. It can compromise your results. Finally, raw fluorescence data must be made accessible. It is required to share data in standardized formats such as RDML or RDES, allowing independent reanalysis and long-term transparency. Think of raw data as breadcrumbs. They make it possible for others to retrace your analytical path instead of guessing how you got there. If you care about building real, up-to-date qPCR skills, staying aligned with things like MIQE 2.0 actually matters. At qPCR Academy, we continuously track advances in qPCR technology and guidelines, and translate them into practical laboratory knowledge. The new guidelines do not make qPCR more complicated. It makes results more reliable, more transparent, and more defensible, whether in research, biotechnology, or diagnostics.